What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie988 coming at your live again through the power of the internet. And this is my rambling series. It's my vlogging series in which I just talk about life, the universe, things that are particularly interesting to me. And I tend to do life updates and things along that lines. And this is going to be a hard one for those of you who really like and love and respect me. But hopefully it'll be helpful to you. So let's get into it. I've been doing therapy since I was 15. I'm now 48. It's like 30 some years, right? That's a lot of therapy. And I'm back in it. I've always done it kind of off and on. You know, sometimes I take a few years off. Sometimes I do a few years on. Currently, I've been going at it for about 6 weeks. And recently, my therapist said something to me that really rocked me. I mean, it kind of really messed me up a little bit. And I wanted to share that with you because it might be interesting or helpful to you. This round of therapy, I focused on one thing, and that, of course, is my eating disorder, which has been a focus off and on throughout the years. But I figure at 48 years old and having been morbidly obese my whole life, how many more years of therapy do I have left? Either I get this right soon or I'm not going to get a chance to get it right. And every time I've done this type of therapy, I've had a reason for overeating the way that I did, right? Obviously, oh, my bad childhood, I feel bad for myself, oh, I don't want to live, I just want to eat to die, I don't want to eat to live, I eat for pleasure, it's one of my only sources of pleasure. All of the same excuses you see on my 600-pound life. And I call them excuses, they were the reasons. They don't excuse the behavior. They were the reasons I was doing what I was doing, does not excuse the behavior, I think we can agree. And each time I've done this round of therapy, we've made really big strides in the thing that I provided as my reason, right? Originally, it was the bad childhood and the trauma, and we worked on that almost 10 years ago now, and I got past a majority of that. Of course, there was the depression and the anxiety, and now I'm medicated, and I have the coping mechanisms to deal with that. Then there was the divorce and the surgery recover, and then the internet turning against me, and I had to learn to cope and deal with that. But right now, I'm as healed as I've ever been, probably as healed as I'm ever going to get. That's pretty great. That's a good place to be. And still, I find myself overeating at every meal and snacking throughout the day and choosing the wrong foods. And obviously, at 400 pounds, I'm not doing great, but longtime viewers of the channel will know I've done much, much worse in the past. And thankfully, the gastric bypass surgery, plus all of the healing I've done, has managed to give me some level of control. So I'm never going to be 600 pounds again, and that's great. Well, whenever I get in with a new therapist, I have to unpack a lot of the other stuff, and we did that. We got a good idea of my history, but this is cognitive behavioral therapy, so we're focusing on how to act better now and providing the tools to do better now. And I talked about my struggles with it, and in a very candid moment, he asked me why I don't eat right, and I said, because I hate myself. As simple as that. I don't want to get better. I don't think I deserve to get better. I'm a piece of shit, and I hate myself. And certainly there's plenty of people on the internet that would agree with that. Not very many people that I've met in real life would agree with that, but that doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Is what I think, and what I think is I fucking suck. And this particular therapist is really well fitted for me because he deals with adults who are recovering from child abuse and deals with abused children every day. That's his day job on top of the therapy that he does at night. And he had some pretty interesting revelations. Probably the most important is the reason that I hate myself is because as a child, I was never given the positive affirmation and support and love that every child is entitled to. I was never taught to love myself because the people that should have loved me unconditionally from the moment I was born hated me. And me and my brother and sister too as well. I'm sure this plagues them as well, but it definitely fucked me up. And that's what he hit me with, what I like to call the therapist 1-2 punch, where he kind of sets you up to show you something and then allows you to see it yourself. He asked me, Steve, how do you think your life would be different if your parents had been normal and they gave you the love and support and kindness that every child is entitled to? And I thought about it for a little while and talked about how it could be different. And then he asked me the question, if you provided that love and kindness and affirmation and support for yourself now, how could your life be different moving forward? Play that again, hit rewind and listen to that again. If I were to provide that love and support for myself now, how could my life be different going forward? Shit. And if you follow me online, then you'll know that I've spent the majority of my life trying to get that validation from other people, right? Either my online audience or friends or emotional partners or my audience or random strangers. And even when I got it, like in cases of my marriage, it didn't help. It didn't fix anything. Because it's got to come from me. I don't, if you tell me right now in the comment section, Boogie, you did this for me, you entertained me, you made my life better, you saved my life, it doesn't matter, I won't believe you. Because you can't love me because I don't love me, because I fucking hate me. Sammy can tell I'm anxious, so he decided to come up and give me some love. His love actually helps, but it's never going to help as much as the love that could potentially and possibly come from loving myself, accepting myself, forgiving myself. And again, if you followed me for any amount of time, there's a lot of stuff to forgive myself for right off the top of my head, completely torpedoing my YouTube career into the ground, into the sub-basement of the ground. That's a good one. Ruining my marriage, not succeeding at my gastric bypass surgery. There's a long list of reasons to be mad at myself and not be happy with myself. But then my therapist asked me a very important question. If one of my friends had done all of the same stuff that I had done that I was mad at myself about, would I be forgiving towards them? And the answer was, of course. And he asked me, would you offer them words of affirmation and kindness and love and support and help? And of course I said yes. So why do I have that double standard? Why do I not want to provide that help for myself, and instead I'll provide it for literally any other human being that isn't me? That's something to think on. Then my therapist asked me if there was anything that I had achieved that I was proud of, and I should make a list and write that list down. And, I did earlier today, and I thought it would be interesting to put that list here. One of the things I'm very happy about and proud about is the fact that I've raised this dog into his old age, and he's a very happy, although very codependent, but healthy puppy, and the new puppy seems to be happy too. I do have a tremendous number of friends, both online and off, who genuinely care about me and love me, and I have been a good friend to most of them, whether I provide emotional support or financial support or anything in between. I've been pretty good to a lot of people, and in fact, some people who've been in similar situations that I was in when I was homeless, coming out of an abusive home, I've helped them out of their bad situations. And I'm really proud of that. I've done that for people in my real life. I've even done it for people online. And I don't know, that makes me feel good to prevent pain in other people the way I wish someone had prevented it for me. The way that the people that did help me helped me. And I like to think, because of all the feedback I've gotten throughout the years, Boogie, you made my life a little easier. You taught me what not to do. You taught me what to do. You kept me alive at my darkest moments, because if you can get through it, I can get through it. Most of that stuff falls on deaf ears because I have trouble believing it most of the time. But I know some of you are telling me the truth, and sometimes it does get through to me. And I think if I've helped you in any way, I think that's okay to be proud of, even if it's just to entertain you. Speaking of my online presence, I ran this business into the ground, but at least there was a business to run into the ground, right? I mean, I built my online following out of my bedroom on a crappy old computer using a recycled Sony iToy web camera. That's pretty impressive. I did it while drawing $800 a month off of disability as my only income. And I was able to capture the internet's attention for a really long time and make a good chunk of money doing it and entertain and help a lot of people along the way. And you know what, man? It was my business to destroy. I hate that I destroyed it, but at least I had it to begin with. So that one kind of cancels itself out, right? And sure, I've destroyed my body, but at least I'm still alive. A lot of kids who go through what I went through, they either die at the hand of their parents or they die at their own hands when they are struggling with it. Not a lot of people make it through and even make it to the ripe old age of 48, maybe even 50, maybe even 55 or 60 if I'm lucky and I get my shit together. And I think that's pretty impressive. And I've nearly died several times. We've talked about that here on the YouTube channel because of my health. But every time I get to the doctor, I do what my doctor tells me to do, except the losing weight part. But I do everything else. I take my medications and I do my exercises. I do whatever it is they tell me to do to stay alive. And by God, I'm alive. I'm proud of that. Proud of that. I won't always be proud of that. Eventually they're going to have to cremate me. But not today. That's what we say to the God of Death, right? Not today, bitch. And now I'm beginning the arduous task of learning to be my own hype man, learning to love myself, learning to support myself. And you know what? Right now it feels fake and empty and stupid, but my therapist says if I do it all day, every day, sometime in the next year, maybe in the next couple of years, I realize I actually do understand and believe that I'm not a terrible person. Maybe that I'm even a good person. And if I can continue to do good things moving forward, maybe I can find more things to be proud of. So that's something I want to work on. It seems like a really weird way to lose weight when it should just be calories in versus calories out. But hey, every little bit helps. And don't worry, I'm trying to watch what I eat. And I'm being more successful than I'm letting you know. Trust me, I think I'm going to get there. So there you go. That's this rambling video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the appearance by Sammy. At some point, I'm going to have to give Leo equal screen time. But I hope that this has brought you some comfort. And look, if you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, if you're not your own hype man, you need to be, because no one else can do it for you. I found out the hard way. I've literally paid people to try to be my hype man, and it meant nothing. It's got to come from you. And if it doesn't come from you, it ain't coming from nowhere, and it won't help it if it does. So work on it. Work on it. You got this. Jesus Christ, if I can learn to love myself, I know you can do it. So, as always, thanks for watching. We love you very much, and we'll speak with you again soon. I hope things are going well for you, and if not, I hope they get better. They will. I promise.